In this video, I'm going to go through all of the Cups tarot cards and give quick and easy ways to tell the difference between each of the cards. If you have a tarot deck that you really like working with or you've never worked with and you want to practice as I go through all of the cards, then get your deck and let's do it. I press record, Buddy walks in. You want to sit on my lap or you want to sit down? This is going to be an interesting video. The first thing to get really clear on when you're interpreting different tarot cards are which part of the deck is it from and which suit is it. First, let's talk about cups and what they mean. Cups have to do with your internal world, your emotions, your feelings, love, intuition, like anything that's going on inside. It's not so much mental, it's more emotional and more intuitive. When you look at Cups cards, you will notice that there are cups on the cards. Most cards, some tarot decks don't have cups on the cards, but usually there are cups on the cards, and there's water. There might be water in the cups, there might be water somewhere depicted in the scene, and that's because Cups cards are related to the element of water. You can think about the properties of water and what water means to you. Water flows. Water can be really still. It can also be, there can be a lot of movement. It can permeate things. And if you're into astrology, you can think of the water signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, and the energy that those signs embody, because that's also related to these cards. But if you're not into astrology, you can ignore that unless you want to learn that and bring that into your tarot practice. So the first thing that I recommend when you are trying to interpret them is to lay them all out, from Ace all the way to King. The Cups cards tell a story. So you can imagine going from Ace to 2 to 3 all the way through to 10 and then through the Court cards. And that's like a journey through your inner world. You start at 1 and then you go all the way to the end. You can lay out your cards and look at what is there. What does that journey look like? What stands out to you? What do you think about? As you're looking at the cards, you'll notice that they go from Ace to 10, and then there are Court cards that go from Page to King. When you're looking at Ace to 10, you can quickly tell what that card means by looking at the number and considering the numerology, and then applying that to what Cups cards mean. With the Court cards, so the Page, the Knight, the Queen, and the King, you can look at what that Court card means, so like what does Page mean, and then combine that with Cups to get an idea of what the cards mean. And I'm going to go through every single card, well, not every card in the tarot, but every Cups card, and just show you how I use the numerology, or how I use the numerology, or how I use the Court card and combine it with Cups to get a really quick meaning. The other thing that you can do is look at the imagery of the card and see what's happening. That is giving you clues as to also what the card means. You might notice a color on a card, or you might notice something on a card one time when you're reading cards and then notice something different the next time that you pull that card. And that's because that symbolism or that color or whatever you're noticing is giving you a clue as to what that card is trying to tell you. As you're learning the cards and as you're working with them, keep a notebook or take notes, or just make a mental note of what you experience and what comes up, because I think most readers have their own special way of interpreting the cards, and you're going to develop yours over time. Now that we have that foundation set, let's dig into each of the cards and go through them one by one. The first card is Ace of Cups. Ace is 1 in numerology, and it represents new and it represents beginnings. So when we pair that with Cups and think about emotions, feelings, inner world, intuition, love, this could be a new beginning in terms of emotions or feelings or love. It could be the beginning of a new relationship or a new way of emotionally relating to something. It could also be something new that gets you really excited. You can also look at the card to see the imagery and get some intuitive insights. For the deck that I'm using, there is a hand coming out of a cloud holding a cup. In traditional tarot, a lot of times when something's coming out of a cloud and there's a hand, it is representative of the divine. So it might be the universe, the divine, bringing you something that maybe you expect or maybe you don't expect. You can see that it's a cup and there's water overflowing. So this might be an emotional experience that overfills, is that a word? Overfills? That makes your heart overflow, or that makes your cup feel full, or your cup runneth over. I don't know why I said runneth, but that's a saying, so that's why. And you can also see behind the cup, there's a sun or a bright light representing positivity, a light shining on something. So overall, this card is usually really positive. And if you just want to go back to the numerology, 1, new beginnings, cups, inner world, emotions, feelings, intuition, love. The next card, 2 of Cups. 2 in numerology is about balance, harmony, duality, and partnerships, and cups, like we've been talking about, inner world, emotions, love, etc. With this card, it has to do with 2 things coming together in a really unified way. There's harmony in this partnership, there's balance, and if you look at the imagery of my card, you can see that there's 2 people. One is in water, one is on land, so they might be 2 different people from 2 different worlds coming together, but they each have a cup in their hand and they're offering it to each other in exchange. So this can also be a partnership that has equal exchange and that feels really, really good. Next, we have the 3 of Cups, and the 3 is about community, creativity, and expansion, connecting that with emotions and love and feelings in our inner world. We see in the card 3 people coming together in community and celebrating. When this card comes up, it might have to do with connecting with community that uplifts you and makes you feel really good emotionally. It might be about being around people or doing things that make you feel really expansive and creative. And this could also be about just celebrating the life that you've created, things that you've created with people that you love. 4s in numerology represent structure, stability, and stagnation. In the Cups card, this can mean that there is stagnant emotional energy, or there's too much structure and too much rigidity, and that is making you feel emotionally unfulfilled, or you're like not looking outside of the box to see things that are around you that will make you feel good. In this card, you can see that there is a person and they are focusing on 3 cups in front of them. What they're not seeing is that there is a cup behind them being offered out of that cloud, so from the divine, from the universe, and they're not noticing it because they are focused on these 3 cups in front of them that probably have stagnant, disgusting water in them. I don't know, maybe not, but that's just like how I'm feeling right now. The reason why I'm saying that is because their face looks really disappointed at the water that's in front of them. Sometimes this can come up when you're experiencing something that you don't like, there's dissatisfaction, and you want something different. This card is really saying if you shift your perspective, you'll see a new opportunity, or you'll feel different in a more positive way because you're changing your attitude and you're changing your internal world. 5 in numerology relates to challenges and conflicts. Pairing that with the cups, the 5 of Cups usually is about emotional challenges, difficulties, and conflicts. If we look at the imagery of this card, I feel like it's really powerful. Same thing with the 4 of Cups, because sometimes you can pull these cards and think, oh yeah, this is going to be emotionally difficult, or things are stagnant, I have an emotional block. But what these 2 cards are saying, that you actually have the power to shift things. If you shift your focus and you change your internal world, the external will change around you. So if you look at the imagery on this card, you'll see that there is someone who is really sad, maybe they're grieving, and in front of them there are 3 spilled cups. So they have lost something. Behind them are 2 cups that are standing. This can come up if you're focusing on the negative or focusing on something that's not positive. And if you would just shift your attention and shift your energy to what you do have, to gratitude, then your whole energy, all of your emotions will shift as well. With the 6 of Cups, 6 in numerology has to do with harmony and reciprocity. So pairing this with the 6 of Cups, you might be experiencing harmonious energy and you might be feeling really supported and nurtured. If you look at the imagery in this card, so first there's a child in this card. This card can come up if you need to focus on your inner child. It could come up if you're being prompted to work with children or to revisit memories or your past or an actual physical location of where you grew up. You can also see that there is someone giving a cup full of, I think this is like sparkly ice cream, to a child. I look at this and I think about magic. Like, children are all about magic. There's some sparkly ice cream, which I don't think exists in real life, although who knows, it might. But that is something that a child would believe in. So where do you need to bring more childlike energy into your life? Or if you have kids, it might be like, hey, you really need to give this kind of energy to your children. Also, this card can come up when there's a need for more harmony in giving and receiving, particularly in relationships, or if you're thinking about yourself and what you need. Take inventory of where you are in terms of that in your life, because balancing that giving and exchanging might bring more harmony to your life, just in general. Did I press record? I had a freak out moment. I felt like maybe I didn't press record, but that makes sense because the next card is the 7 of Cups. The 7s are about planning and strategizing and reflection, and so yeah, I felt like I didn't plan enough, I guess. I don't know. When you pair that with the Cups energy, it's about reflecting on your inner world, your feelings, thinking about what you really want, and then planning and acting through your intuition. If we look at the imagery on this card, there are 7 cups, and each cup has a different option, a different possibility. It's important for the person in this card to really get clear on their emotions and feelings and connected with their intuition before they make a choice, so that they make a choice that is really emotionally fulfilling for them. Generally, when this card comes up, it is good to have a plan and clarity before acting on your emotions. In numerology, 8 has to do with movement and transition. And when we pair that with the cups, that means there's some kind of movement and transition when it comes to our inner world, or how we feel about something, or how we're relating to something. If you look at the imagery on this card, you can see that there is a person and they are walking away from 8 cups. This often comes up when we need to or we want to walk away from something that isn't emotionally fulfilling for us anymore. When this comes up, you're really being asked to move towards something that you love, that feels more aligned, and that is really fulfilling for you. When you do this, you may have to walk away from people, situations, jobs, whatever is in your life that doesn't feel good to you anymore. And it may be difficult to do that, but when you do focus on what you love and what is aligned and you move towards that, then you start to experience more positive emotions and healthier and happier relationships with others and with yourself. Moving on to the 9 of Cups. There are crows outside going crazy right now. They will not stop. Okay, they just stopped. But I don't think it's a coincidence that they were making themselves known out there with the 9 of Cups, because crows, at least for me, are about magic and manifesting, and that is what the 9 of Cups is about. And they're going off again. They're here. 9 in numerology has to do with fulfillment, things nearing completion, and things coming to fruition. When we pair that with cups, it's all good things. This signals emotional fulfillment. If you've been working on something that you really love, or there's something that you want that just feels so good to you, this card signals, hey, it can come to fruition, so have faith that this is going to be realized. Next, we have the 10 of Cups, and 10 is about completion and the end of a cycle. When we're thinking about cups and we're thinking about our inner world and our emotions, something related to that is coming to a close. If you look at the imagery on this card, everyone is really happy. If something is coming to a close or something is ending, this card, it is saying, oh, I just hit the mic. This card is saying that there will be a happy ending and you can trust in that. Next are the court cards. So these work a little differently because they don't align with numbers. They align with royalty, people. In general, pages usually are like a messenger, or they signify that you're on the brink of something. This can signify that there is some kind of message that's going to be coming soon, some kind of opportunity that's going to be coming soon when it relates to love, your emotions, feelings, intuition. This can also point to that you are on the brink of a new inner experience, maybe something that you've never experienced before. If we look at the imagery of this card, so we have a cup, but in this cup, there's a fish. It's totally unexpected, so you might get some unexpected news when this card comes up. The next card is the Knight of Cups. Knights usually have to do with action, they're action oriented. For the Knight of Cups, the knight is pretty slow. It's like the horse is, it's going at a leisurely pace. So when this card comes up, it might be, hey, slow down a little bit. You can see that the horse is looking at its foot. So it might be, hey, watch where you're going. Be more mindful of where you're going. And you can also see the knight is looking at the cup in front of them, and that is their focus. It might be a really strong message to really focus on your inner world. Really follow your heart and don't be swayed by anything else around you. Queens represent the feminine aspects of the suit. So in this case, it would be cups, and they also signify some kind of mastery when it comes to that suit. So you can think of nurturing, vulnerability, receptivity. It could also be about getting in tune with yourself. So depending on how you pull this card, if you pull other cards, it can either be saying you are on the right track and you are really embodying these feminine aspects of the Cups cards, or it could be a sign to focus on being more like the Queen of Cups and really embodying those things. And finally, we have the King of Cups. Kings, similarly, they also represent some kind of mastery, but they represent the masculine attributes of that particular suit. This is about being grounded while also being able to fully feel your emotions. It's about being stable and being emotional at the same time. It's about being compassionate, but also having really healthy boundaries. And it could also be a sign to provide advice or guidance to others when it comes to Cups themes of love, intuition, feelings, emotions, and the inner world in general. If you look at the imagery of this card, you can see the water below the king. It's pretty intense. It's rocky. It doesn't look smooth and calm like it did in the Queen of Cups. But you can see the king. He's just chilling. He does not care. He's got his eyes set out to whatever he's looking at, and so that emotional water isn't impacting him. When you pull this, it either means that's where you're at and that's what you're embodying, or it's a sign to be more of that and embody that kind of energy. And so those were all of the cards. I don't know how long this video is right now, but I think it's quick and easy. If you have any questions or anything wasn't clear, just let me know in the comments. And I hope that you are walking away from this video with confidence and a really clear understanding of how to tell the difference between each of the cards. If you like this video and you want more like it, please let me know. I feel like I can talk about cards all day, and let me know what deck you're using as well. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.